In this video, we're going to cover how to select keywords based on your question. These keywords are the words that you will use to type into whatever database or search engine you want. This works for Google, it also works for Academic Search Complete, or really any database that you would be using. So first thing you need to know is, what is your research question? This can be based on your hypothesis or your thesis or what you want the topic of your paper to be. So in this example, does preschool attendance affect student performance in college? You would never type this whole question into Google or into a database. You would never type in, does preschool attendance affect student performance in college? You would type in the key words. These are the words that the computer will use to look for your paper. And I always start by underlining the nouns in my subject, in my sentence. So preschool attendance, student performance, college. I typically write a lot of lists when I do my searching, so I would suggest having a sheet of notebook paper, and you write each of these down. We're going to start working with them. So first thing we do is we think of synonyms. Just because we want to use a term to mean preschool attendance or to mean student performance does not mean that that's the term the computer is expecting to use. Either the publisher or another author may use a different term. So I start thinking up synonyms, and as you do your research, you'll notice other synonyms pop up, and you can jot those down and use those for different searches. So a synonym for preschool attendance might be pre-kindergarten. Student performance may be student achievement. One thing that does often show up if you're looking for things about colleges, look for higher education. That's almost always the term that they use. Next up is something that we call granularity, which means I'm going to think of either a broader or a narrower term. Sometimes you'll notice that you're only getting 4 or 5 results, and in that situation you would want to use a broader term. But say I get 500 results. Well, I need to be more focused in my search term. So I'm going to think of something more specific. For example, instead of just preschool attendance, I may want to look into Head Start programs, or I may want to look into universal preschool. Student performance, I could consider various aspects or facets of student performance, such as, am I interested in their study skills? Am I interested in college completion? Am I interested in reading skills or math skills? For college, I could look at things like what rates of students become college undergraduates or become graduate students. I could look at different kinds of majors if I want to write about preschool leading to more science majors. I could do that as a more specific search. I may also want to consider broader aspects. Preschool attendance, I may look at holistically early childhood education, not just preschool. I couldn't think of anything broader than student performance. That's actually already a pretty broad term. And then college, I could look more broadly at education. So if I'm not getting enough about college attendance or college success, I may want to look at their educational success overall. Now I start combining terms. I pick the ones that I think will be the most successful or that describe what I'm really trying to get at the best to the computer. And I separate these similar terms with the term or. So looking over my lists, the best way for me to get to preschool attendance would be to type out Head Start or pre-kindergarten or preschool. For student performance, I would have academic achievement, reading skills, college completion. Those are 3 aspects of student performance that are interesting to me. Note that I put these phrases in quotation marks, and that's so I search for an exact phrase. If I put in just academic achievement, the computer would look all over for the word academic and then the word achievement. And I don't want it to look all over the place. I want it to look for those words together. And then finally with college, I could put in college or university or higher education or undergraduate. Now to put them all together, for each of these sets, I put them in parentheses. This explains to the computer, I want you to look at Head Start or pre-kindergarten or preschool, and I want you to consider that all as one set to look for. I want you to look for academic achievement or reading skills or college completion, and consider all of those as terms to look for. Finally, I would add the word "and" in between those sets of parentheses. That tells the computer I want Head Start and reading skills. So you're telling the computer, give me anything in the first set and anything in the second set and anything in the third set, but I need something that has a word in each of these 3 sets. And when I type it all out, I end up with something that looks like this. And I would have Head Start or pre-kindergarten or preschool, and academic achievement or reading skills or college completion, and college or higher education or university or undergraduate. I can then take all of those terms and search in a database for my topic and find an article that might be useful to me. That's the basics of choosing keywords. You can look for our other videos to see more specific examples of what we could do.